Hey guys, so today's video is day 3 of the week-long collab with Bonnie, and today's topic is what made me decide to start on my weight loss journey. And I think for some people this is a really sensitive topic. I know that it is for me, just because it kind of affects me in a way that maybe it doesn't affect other people. Not to say that other people don't struggle with this, because I definitely think that they do, and I know that they do. This is what makes me wake up every day and go to the gym and make conscious decisions when I'm eating. So going back to when I was about 16 years old, I kept going to the doctor because I thought I was pregnant because I wasn't having a period. And that is when they did a lot of blood work and they realized that I had polycystic ovarian syndrome, or PCOS as it's commonly referred to. You guys can Google that all you want, but long story short, basically, it just means that my hormone levels are a little bit off balance, and I have cysts around my ovaries, and because of this it causes a few different reactions with my body chemistry. So people with PCOS tend to gain weight a lot quicker. They tend to also be overweight, but that's not always the case. And they tend to hold weight. A little bit harder to lose weight with PCOS than it would be just if you were a regular old person. So that's definitely a source of a lot of my frustration when it comes to weight loss. Along with that, it comes with irregularities in periods and a few other just really weird symptoms that come along with it. But like I said, you could Google that if you were interested in all of the things that I deal with, or that many people deal with on a daily basis. So along with that, because you have irregular periods, it's really hard to see when you're ovulating. So this really didn't affect me before. When I was 16 years old, that wasn't really anything that I was worried about, because they told me that as long as I take medication, it would help me out and help me have more regular periods. So fast forward a couple years later, this past September I got married, and one of the first things on our minds was, when are we gonna have a baby? And it was really hard because we tried for a little bit and then we realized that I wasn't having periods again, and it was just difficult. And we were taking tons of those ovulation prediction tests, and I caught it one time but wasn't able to catch it any other times, and it was just really irritating to me. And I felt really helpless, and I felt like my body wasn't doing what it was supposed to be doing in helping me out and creating a child. So I went to the doctor. Doctors often give them this pill called Clomid, and it helps basically kickstart ovulation. I know that it's used sometimes when people are having fertility problems, but a lot of times it's used in this case. And I went there probably a few months ago. I think it was November. And initially the doctor came in and she was like, okay, I understand you have PCOS. We'll definitely give you some Clomid. And it was a nurse practitioner, so she had to run it by one of the other doctors first before she gave me the prescription. So she left the room and I was getting really excited. I texted my husband. I was just on top of the world, and she said, I double checked this with the doctor and she doesn't want to give you this medication because you're too heavy. And my heart just sunk. It just sunk. I didn't even know how to respond. I just kind of stood there and looked at her, and she could tell that I was just breaking inside. And I said, why does my weight matter when it comes to taking a pill so that I can try to get pregnant? And in hindsight, it does make sense, and I don't blame her. I'm actually quite thankful for her decision. But she said, we don't typically like to give Clomid to people who are overweight because there's a component in Clomid that helps you ovulate a lot, so it gives you more chances to have a successful pregnancy. She said that she was nervous because Clomid is responsible for multiple births. It's not a very high percentage, but it definitely is a percentage. And she was worried that if I had gotten pregnant with, even one baby at that point, that my weight was going to affect the health of the pregnancy, the health of me and the baby. So she didn't want to take that risk, and I don't blame her one bit. At the time I was really frustrated, but I am looking back at it now and I'm glad that she didn't just hand it over to me and she actually listened to her gut. It didn't make it any easier to deal with though. So she told me that I had to lose about 50 pounds before she would give me the medication, which I think that's wonderful, but I think I'd like to get down to my goal weight before I take the medication. It was definitely a wake-up call for me that even if my body was functioning the way that it was supposed to function, there would be a chance that I would be endangering my future children by carrying them in a heavy body. And I know that a lot of people have successful pregnancies that are plus-size women, and it doesn't happen all the time that there are complications, but in more cases than not there are complications, and I'm not willing to take that risk. She said that there were so many risks associated with it, like preeclampsia, having to be on bed rest for predominantly most of the pregnancy, as well as other things such as not being able to carry to term and risk premature pregnancies, and that's definitely a high risk factor and it's scary. So from that point forward, I decided that I was going to take a hold of my life and better myself, better my body, put better things in it, become a healthier person, because the risks outweighed the benefits and I was afraid. So I definitely shared a pretty huge part of my life with you just now. It's not something I'm ashamed of. It's not something that I'm afraid to tell people, but it's something that I recognize and that I deal with every single day. That was the story behind what motivated me to start my weight loss journey. I hope that you enjoyed it, and maybe some of you can relate in similar situations as well. Again, please don't forget to go ahead and check out Bonnie's channel. I went ahead and listed it below again, and go ahead and check out what her inspiration was to start her weight loss journey. As always, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe below. Bye guys.